Oh, God, allergies, let me tell you. Terrible this season. We should probably talk about this thing though, right?
Level up your game with the latest mechanical keyboards from Massdrop, like the brand new Massdrop Alt, a 67% board with RGB lighting, aluminum frame, dual USB-C ports, and your choice of switches. Join the first production of the Alt and receive $10 off your next keycap set, a unique serial number etched into your board, and more. Click the link in the description to catch this exciting drop before it ends.
So those of you who follow me on social media are probably well aware by now that Hotline, my custom water-cooled PC, my one true love, apart from my wife, suffered a catastrophic leak recently. And it's the biggest leak in any custom water-cooled system I've ever built. I'm still a little shaken up by the whole thing. But today I'm gonna just sort of give you guys a really quick update of what happened, why it happened, and where do we go from here. So it was Friday, last Friday, and I came home. I was out all day, came home, didn't go to my office right away, just sort of hung out in the living room for a bit, and then finally right before I went to bed, went to the office just to check on some stuff, and saw this huge puddle of pink fluid on the carpet floor. At that point, I immediately knew, because it was coming from just below Hotline, obviously, I knew what had happened. I looked up and there was fluid everywhere. I was expecting maybe just like one leak from some specific point that had just kind of made its way to the carpet. No, it was everywhere. And as you guys could tell from the B-roll footage, it definitely was a nightmare. So I immediately turned the system off because it was running when I found it. And actually it was running seemingly fine. It was in the Windows lock screen, and there was nothing weird that would indicate the hardware was malfunctioning on screen. But I immediately pulled the plug, shut it down before it could do any serious damage. And I cried. I cried myself to sleep. No, I didn't cry, but I did take it to the office here in the studio the next day for further inspection. And what I found is that this fitting right here on top of the terminal was actually loose. It was far too loose, so much to the point where this tube right here was actually kind of half in and half out. So it was sort of making, semi-contact with its O-ring when it should have been completely immersed into it, and that explains why it was just spraying out so violently in every direction. And in light of all this, as traumatic as this was, there are a couple things in hindsight that I'm grateful for. For one, the GPU backplates were actually helping to cover up the PCBs and sort of protecting them, even though that's not at all what they're intended for or advertised to do. They do provide some nice coverage over the PCBs, so fluid was actually going onto those rather than the card itself, which was hopefully is going to prove helpful when we test this later on. And secondly, the thermal armor on our X99 Sabertooth board here from ASUS definitely helped protect some crucial elements on the motherboard, like the VRM area and other various parts and componentry. So I don't know. I haven't turned the system on since that incident. And I guess the next plan of attack here is to disassemble everything, make sure it's cleaned to a T, reassemble the system, refill the loop, boot it back up, and see if we've suffered any casualties. I'll also be taking a look at thermals to make sure that everything is functioning properly. But that's pretty much what's going on with Hotline, guys. And for those of you who don't know, maybe you're new to the channel, you've never seen this system here before, this computer means a lot to me. It was my very first custom water-cooled PC that I built a few years back, and it was a huge labor of love. So it's very sentimental to me, and I really hope that it makes it out alive and well. I'm sure your thoughts and prayers are with us both. But I guess I'll close this video out with the final announcement, and I guess this is kind of a big one. As traumatic as this experience was, it has kind of prompted me to start planning out a Hotline 2.0 build. I'm not saying that this one's going anywhere. If I can restore it back to 100%, then it will continue living, doing whatever it needs to do. But I'm going to start planning out a new and improved system based on Hotline that is using current gen hardware. And you guys have been requesting this so much for so long, and this is finally the straw that broke the camel's back. So game on. And that's all for now, guys. That's all I got to say. So thank you very much for tuning into this very brief update and announcement. More to come very soon. I'll keep you guys posted on this guy as well. So thanks for watching. Toss a like, subscribe, and all that. I'll see you guys soon.